Over the past week, West Virginia has gained recruit after recruit, and that streak has continued yet again as West Virginia has picked up yet another verbal commitment, this time coming from a three-star athlete to add to the 2024 recruiting class. Let's go. What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Jordan Cruz back here with the Country Roads webcast. And before I get into this video, just want to give you guys a quick reminder. If you would do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button right there. Give us a like on this video. It'll really help not only its performance, but future videos performances here on the channel as well. And if you're a West Virginia fan or a college football fan in general, for that matter, be sure hit that subscribe button. Helps us and it helps you, as it helps get more of this Mountaineer sports content out to Mountaineer Nation. Having said that, let's get into it. All right, as I mentioned in the cold open to the video, West Virginia picks up yet another verbal commitment, and what a streak it has been over this past week for West Virginia. Day after day, just reeling in verbal commitment after verbal commitment, and Zay Jennings has continued that streak for West Virginia, as you see detailed in this article over on WVSportsNow.com by Mike Ostie. Jennings listed as a three-star athlete in the 2024 recruiting class, plays quarterback for his current high school, but is believed to be a defensive back in the future for West Virginia, so technically could be the second addition that will help the West Virginia secondary in the future, following KJ Flo from just a couple of days ago. But either way, Zay Jennings, I think, is a great pickup for West Virginia wherever he ends up playing. You love those athlete additions because of their versatility, and he also has good size, as you see here. 6'2", 192 pounds, is the three-star athlete. And here is his tweet in which he announced his commitment to West Virginia that he wrote personally on his Twitter account and shared the graphic there. And, of course, tagging multiple WVU football coaches and the official WVU football Twitter account with the Take Me Home tweet. But if you want to follow him on Twitter, Mountaineer Nation, you can there, as you see, at J5ZAE there. But I think this is an excellent addition to the 2024 class that continues their hot streak, as we mentioned earlier, just on a roll right now, on an absolute tear. And although Zay Jennings may be only rated as a three-star prospect, don't let that fool you. I think that he's a player with great potential to really assist the West Virginia secondary in the future. Prototypical fit at spear, maybe. We'll see how that works out. But either way, I think he's a great addition. Great athlete that's really going to help the future of Mountaineer football. Coming from Cincinnati, Ohio, so yet again, West Virginia really recruiting those borderline states this year. But just to go along with what I'm stating about, I feel like he's underrated a little bit as a three-star prospect. You can see here detailed in this article, Jennings listed among the top 35 players in his class within the state of Ohio. So you're talking about a top 35 recruit from the state of Ohio by the majority of the major recruiting outlets. 247 Sports placing him within the top 30, actually at number 27, On 3 having him at number 34, and then Rivals placing him at number 32 as well. So plenty of other offers were on the table for Zay Jennings as well, as you see here. Bowling Green, Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Cincinnati, James Madison, Marshall, Miami, Purdue, Toledo, and Western Michigan, just to name a few there of the many offers of the three-star athlete Zay Jennings. But ultimately, he decides on West Virginia. Really great news for us among Mountaineer Nation to add an athlete to this recruiting class, which is really on a tear right now when we're talking about this 2024 class. I think he'll end up as a player in the secondary. But speaking of the tear that 2024 class is on, let's take a look at the verbal commitments that class has received now, with the total now all the way up to 9 here over this past hot week, in which we've seen recruit after recruit pledge their commitments to West Virginia. Let's take a look at our commitment list here on the Country Roads webcast. All right, and if you've been following along here on the CRW channel in the past, you're probably familiar with our commitment list here. But if not, we're trying to keep up with the 2024 verbal commits as they come in for West Virginia. We have a video on each one of these as they've came in individually in the past. You can scroll back through on the channel. Just go to the playlist that's titled CRW Recruiting if you want to find them individually, or of course you can just scroll through the uploads there on the main channel. But having said that, as I stated, the total number of verbal commits for for West Virginia swelled up to 9 following a very hot week this past week. Like I said, commit after commit rolling in for West Virginia. Zay Jennings, of course, here at the bottom, the most recent addition, the subject of this video, the 3-star athlete, 6'2", 192-pounder from the state of Ohio. Like I said, likely to play defense in his future at West Virginia, probably at one of the safety positions, maybe even the spear position. But just to run down the list of current commits for West Virginia, if you haven't followed along here on the past CRW, which I hope if you're just now tuning in with this commitment video, you choose to do so here in the future, because we'll be continuing to cover this 2024 class as it develops, as well as provide roster updates for the current West Virginia football roster and transfer updates as those come in as well, and then depth chart updates as we get closer here to fall camp as well. But having said that, the 2024 verbal commits for West Virginia are defensive lineman Richard Wink James out of New Jersey, Keyshawn Robinson, a wide receiver out of West Virginia, one of the top recruits in the state of West Virginia, tight end Jack Samarco out of Ohio with great size there, 6'6", 242, and then defensive lineman Obina Onwuka, the first 4-star addition for the West Virginia class here in 2024, coming from the state of Maryland, followed shortly by offensive lineman Kyle Altuner, who, despite the 3-star rating, I think has great potential to maybe be a future replacement for Zach Frazier. He kind of reminds me a lot of Zach Frazier. And then West Virginia added a defensive lineman in Elijah Kinsler, a 3-star recruit from the state of New Jersey. Most recently, we just put up a video on the additions of Keelan KJ Flo, a defensive back from the state of North Carolina, and Brandon Raymond, a wide receiver from the state of Pennsylvania. That is the second 4-star addition to the 2024 recruiting class. And then, of course, wrapping it up with the 9th verbal commit that West Virginia has received to add to this class, the subject of this video, Zay Jennings. So there you have it, Mountaineer Nation, a little bit of detail on the 9th verbal commitment to the 2024 West Virginia football recruiting class, that being athlete Zay Jennings, the 3-star recruit there, coming from the state of Ohio, as well as an update in general on the 2024 class as it stands currently, following a very hot week in which West Virginia reeled in several commits, and I don't think they're done yet. Be on the lookout here on the channel for announcements on future commits that may come in the near future as West Virginia continues to build this 2024 class. But speaking of that class and the addition of Jennings, how are you feeling about both of those? Be sure, let us know down there in the comments. We really appreciate the interactions as we continue to try and grow the Country Roads webcast community throughout Mountaineer Nation. Having said that, as always, I'm Jordan Cruz, and until next time, let's go Mountaineers.